Distinguished guests, welcome to the 2024 Annual Army Women's Foundation Scholarship Awards and Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony. Please stand for the singing of our national anthem by Army Women's Foundation Board Member Colonel Clydelia Pritchard Allen.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. This year, the Army Women's Foundation commemorates and celebrates 55 years of service to the nation. Please enjoy this video tribute.
Since the Revolutionary War, women have bravely volunteered and faithfully served in the United States Army. While some of their stories of courage, sacrifice, and commitment are documented in the history of our nation, there are many more stories yet to be told. The United States Army Women's Foundation, headquartered at Fort Gregg Adams, Virginia, is committed to ensuring the history and the incredible talent, resilience, and creativity of all Army women will be remembered, honored, and celebrated. Today, the Foundation connects and supports women veterans of all backgrounds to share their unique experiences and empowers their futures through scholarships, Hall of Fame recognition, mentorship, and educational programs. For the past 55 years, the Army Women's Foundation has stood with Army women past, present, and future to guarantee servicewomen are honored, empowered, and connected. Let's stand together to ensure we can continue to preserve and tell their stories for the next 55 years and beyond.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States Army Women's Foundation, Brigadier General Retired Ann McDonald.
Well, good afternoon, and I want to start by saying what an amazing rendition of the national anthem. Thank you so much. It's not an easy song to sing, and you did it beautifully. Thank you so much. And then a hooah to that film. That was wonderful. I want to give a shout out to our Reads Across America radio, Chris Chapman, who helped in the production of that video, celebrating and commemorating 55 years of the United States Army Women's Foundation. Puh. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the 2024 Scholarship Awards and Hall of Fame ceremony at the historic Military Women's Memorial. It's a great place to be here. I know some of you have traveled very long distances, so thank you so much for making that trip and coming and being with us. Thank you for everyone viewing the program on the Army Women's Foundation Facebook page and listening on Reads Across America radio. I know we have some friends and family and other Army women supporters watching and listening, and you know who you are. Great to see you. I'd like to call attention to some special guests in the audience. Terrific. The Honorable Tanya Bradshear, Deputy Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Welcome. So happy to have you. Colonel Anita Dixon, U.S. Army retired civilian aide to the Secretary of the United States for District Columbia. Cool. And of course, our keynote speaker, Major General Hope C. Rampey, who we're going to hear from a little bit later. And a special shout out to Major General retired D. McWilliams, past president of the United States Army Women's Foundation and past president of the Military Women's Memorial. Welcome home. Today we celebrate and commemorate 55 years of the Army Women's Foundation. In 1969, members of the Women's Army Corps were determined to preserve the history of their service and remain connected to the military they loved so much. 55 years later, we continue to build on their legacy through museum support, legacy scholarship program, Hall of Fame ceremonies, mentorship, leadership development, and educational panel discussions, while connecting women all over the world via our various media platforms. Women have played vital roles in our Army since the Revolutionary War, and today women are soldiers, veterans, family members, critical members of the team who've changed the course of history through their service. And today, this ceremony will honor some of those women. Now, we cannot do what we do, and that's to honor, empower, connect, and accomplish all that we have done without the generous support we receive from private donors and also our corporate sponsors. Women and men who volunteer to serve our country deserve our support. Over the years, we have seen the roles women have played in the Army evolve. We have experienced an increase in the number of women serving. We have witnessed greater opportunities of the roles women can now have. But with this comes a change of responsibility to increase the support to women as they dedicate their lives to the service of our Army. Sponsors, we appreciate your commitment. You've been loyal, committed friends who believe in our mission, believe and support the work we do, and we cannot thank you enough. Now, we're going to get a chance to individually meet some of our sponsors later on in the ceremony, but I want to acknowledge them up front on this slide. Our Liberty, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You can never, ever say thank you enough, ever. So our Liberty sponsor is OptumServe, represented by Miss Amanda Roberts. Our Freedom sponsors, Windsor Group, Deidre Windsor, and Floor, Colonel Retired Janie Carson. Our Eagle sponsors, Pritzker Military Foundation. They're watching virtually. Advisory Health, Dr. Cheryl Creamer, Colonel Retired, and she's in attendance today. Professional Contract Services Incorporated, represented by Miss Andrea Spratley. Stantec, watching virtually, is Lydia Griffey, Hamlet Bonilla, and that fabulous team out west. And then, of course, the Army Women's Foundation Board of Directors and Advisors is also one of our sponsors. Our Courage sponsors, Caliber, present today, is Lieutenant General Richard Formica and his fabulous team. Penn Fed Credit Union, present today are members of the leadership team, Brigadier General Terry Williams, United States Marine Corps, retired, yes, Marine Corps, huh? And Miss, huh? Yeah, I like that. Miss Michelle Hart, an Army veteran, and Miss Amy Stark. So welcome, welcome. Geico Military, Command Sergeant Major Edwin Sizer, U.S. Army veteran, huh? Thank you so much for your continued support. And Keep Your Hair Headgear, represented by Major Retired Natasha Hines, huh? And Regenesis Medical, who are sponsoring our AV. Tom Eisenminger is an Army veteran, and he is joining us virtually, so thank you, Tom. Patriot sponsors, Army Nurse Corps Association, Colonel Karen Gaussman, Thundercat Technology, Lockheed Martin, and the United States Army Warrant Officers Association. Oh, yeah, I like that. Who would have thought the warrant officers are holding down? Okay, and Executive Director Kara Rinkoff is here, and also CW5, thank you, Kara, CW5, Michael Dye, President of the Warrant Officers Association. So, to our partners, there are a lot of great organizations doing terrific work in this same space, supporting our Army soldiers, our families, and the veteran population. And through strong partnerships and collaboration with these organizations, we are able to leverage our collective efforts and talents to reach an even better population. And as the song says, we are better when we're together. So our partners include Reads Across America. Reads Across America Radio is with us. Broadcasting our program is Mr. Jeff Pierce. Huh? AUSA, we have several members of the team here. And Zinga Curry, maybe Carrie, Scott Halstead, we're looking forward to being part of the AUS annual meeting in the fall, so thank you for your partnership. The Army Women's Museum, Miss Tracy Bradford, who's the curator. Army Museum, and even though they're at Fort Greg Adams, the Army Women's Foundation began with the museum that was located at Fort McClellan, Alabama. So I can say that museum is where this all began. We're excited about our partnership with the Female Mentoring and Morale Program, FMMP, which is all-inclusive grassroots platform providing leader development and mentorship. And today is the Executive Director, Colonel Clydelia Pritchard Allen, who just also happened to be the performer for the national anthem. So glad that you're here. And the Military Women's Memorial. President of the Military Women's Memorial, CW5 retired Phyllis Wilson. Thank you to you and your wonderful team. And I have to say, we would like to welcome General James C. McConville, USA retired, the 40th Chief of Staff of our Army. Welcome, sir. Today's a great day, and there's much to commemorate and celebrate as we present scholarships and induct extraordinary, inspirational, patriotic individuals into our Hall of Fame and get to hear one of our Army's premier leaders. And at this time, distinguished guests, friends and family, it is my pleasure and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker. She is a 1996 distinguished military graduate from Cameron University, Oklahoma, and commissioned as an Adjutant General Corps officer. Love that. She has served in a variety of Adjutant General positions in the Army, from Personal Services Detachment Commander, G1 of the United States Army Pacific Command, to the 62nd Adjutant General of the United States Army. Now, her biography is in your program, and I take the time to read it, but I want to just highlight a couple of things about this multifaceted leader. Among the many extraordinary things that she has done include commanding a special troops battalion in combat. In 2012, she deployed the 4th Special Troops Battalion, 4th Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cavalry Division to Afghanistan, where her battalion conducted route clearance, military intelligence operations, signal support, and security for the brigade combat team. And she also served as the lead for the counter IED effort in Regional Command East, Afghanistan. That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to present the Director of the Military Personnel Management, Deputy Chief of Staff G1, Major General Hope C. Ranty.
Excuse me, ma'am. Now, everyone needs someone or something to lift them up. You know, I will tell you, walking into this room and that feeling, and so we talk about lifting one another up, that is what the Army Women's Foundation is about. So I appreciate the board of directors. Thank you to the foundation for having me here today. The opportunity to not only celebrate these phenomenal women, but also the family members that will receive scholarships today. It is truly an honor. To our distinguished guests, I know you've already been recognized, but it is huge that you're here celebrating our Army women. So thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am, for being here today. For any other distinguished guests that didn't get a shout out, this is your official hello, shout out, welcome. And for those that kind of snickered, I will tell you, if you ask who's really running some behind the scenes things in the Army, it is the Warrant Officer Mafia. I learned early on, so I'm just saying, watch yourself when you walk out. Watch yourself. But in all seriousness, in celebration of the Army Women's Foundation 55th anniversary and Women's History Month, the U.S. Army Women's Foundation continues to recognize extraordinary Army women. I'm proud to be a part of an organization that recognizes and honors the service of Army women, past and present, and also strives to inspire those leaders of the future. We really do embrace this time annually to commemorate the unforgettable contributions and remarkable achievements of women throughout history. The women we are recognizing today are a part of our Army story, a story that really started not that long ago. The barriers to recent military service can really be summarized in a span of 68 years. There are two bookends that define a woman's ability to serve, 1948 and 2016. In July of 1948, the first enlisted women entered the regular Army. In December of that year, our first WAC officers received regular Army appointments. The last restriction on women's service ended in 2013, when then Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta lifted the Pentagon's ban on women's direct ground combat roles. But it wasn't until 2016 that women were eligible to serve in every single combat role. So while we have those year markers as our bookends, women have actually served in our military since the American Revolution. Women like Margaret Corbin, who was wounded while operating artillery in the defense of Fort Washington during the Revolutionary War. To Dr. Mary Walker, our only female recipient of the Medal of Honor for her service at the Battle of Bull Run. In World War I, over 400 Army nurses, they made the ultimate sacrifice in their line of duty. And the contributions of Army women in World War II included First Lieutenant Reba Whittle, a flight nurse. She was the only U.S. female soldier to be imprisoned as a POW in the European theater when her plane was shot down. To the Korean and the Vietnam Wars, and then at home, where in 1976 we finally allowed women to attend our service academies. Significant contributions continue in our era, where women like Silver Star recipient Sergeant Leanne Hester deployed on the front lines, to many of you in this room, both in Afghanistan and Iraq, to the Army promotion of General Ann Dunwoody as our nation's first woman four-star officer. And in 2024, we are still counting our firsts. Vice Admiral Yvette Davids became the first woman to lead the 170-year-old Naval Academy. Second Lieutenant Madison Marsh, an a U.S. pilot in the Air Force, became Miss America. And lastly, the Army had its first female active duty soldier to graduate from sniper school, and her photo is in the film, Sergeant Mason Hay. We draw strength and inspiration from those that came before us. And those remarkable women working among us today, they're part of our story. And a truly balanced and inclusive history recognizes how important women have always been in American society. So what separates service and great achievements? What separates the Hall of Famers that we honor today? Courage. Courage to not accept no. Courage to push through barriers. Courage to try when no one else who looks like you has ever done it. The courage to keep putting one foot in front of the other. The courage to be different than those around you. The women we are honoring today embody the spirit of courage. We celebrate their over 255 years of combined service. 9 transformational women. They can best be described in words like community, activist, morale, veteran supporter, joint leader, movements, senior advisors, masters of the sword, grassroots, and leaders in their field. Someday in the future, we will recognize women for their impactful service at events just like this, but without the word first. Until there are no more firsts, keep pushing barriers, support those that do, and break through the remaining glass ceilings within your service and your communities. Great achievements are not accomplished alone. They're not accomplished by any individual, but by an individual surrounded by a team, surrounded by other players, supporting them, teaching them, and lifting them up. The Army is a team sport, one that requires all players to know their position and be willing to take the field when your nation calls. Great teams rely on the collective talents of the team, and the Army really is no different. But we have evolved in how we manage and value talent. We respect the differences in race, gender, and branches, and that they are all valued, all required in today's world to pull together to win on any playing field. Women have the freedom to play any position now, but each of us must earn it, train for it, and sustain it. Incredible service, Hall of Famer-like service, is not defined by one game, but a seasons of wins and losses. And in those wins, and especially those losses, do they define their service, their character, and demonstrate their courage. Reflect on the women that have come before you, the great achievements and the path that they have plowed for all of us. And when that reflective time has ended, whether you are serving in uniform today or you are in service to your community, be a doer. Do something, be something, believe in something, be like these Hall of Famers. Thank you for your time today. I'm proud to serve with you, and I'm proud to serve in an institution where I can be anything I want to be. Be all you can be.
The audience has spoken. Absolutely fabulous, fabulous. Thank you for the inspirational remarks. Thank you for the challenge that you've given us. And of course, at the Army Women's Foundation, we always like to give a little small token of appreciation. This mug comes in at a value of $14.98, well within the standards of ethics. So, Maya, congratulations. Thank you. Okay, fabulous. The Army Women's Foundation invests in the future through our Legacy Scholarship Program, and our scholarships enable recipients to attain their educational goals. These scholarships represent an investment in the next generation of American leaders. Now, normally, Colonel Alice Damaris, who is the chair of the Scholarship Committee, would be our presenter today. But unfortunately, one of those highly mobile transient bugs got her, and she's not able to be here. We know you're watching virtually. Thank you, Alice, for all the work that you do as the chairman of the Scholarship Committee. But we are fortunate to have a member of the Scholarship Committee to present So presenting today's Legacy Scholarship is Trailblazer, Leader, and Scholarship Committee member, Colonel retired Janie Carson. Now, Janie and I started our first days as second lieutenants together at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, at the Field Artillery Basic Officers Course. And we didn't see each other again until we were stationed together in Korea some 20 years later. But we were still friends, because that's the way the Army is, friends forever. Colonel Carson served for over 27 years as a field artillery officer and then military logistician, holding command positions at the battery, battalion, and brigade level. And Janie holds the distinction of being the first woman to command a Pershing missile battery. Hooah. Please help me in welcoming our Scholarship Committee member, Colonel retired Janie Carson.
Thanks, Ann. Yeah, so nobody knows what a Pershing missile battery is. So, it's back in the Cold War, nuclear missiles. Hey, Hope, that was absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much. So this starts the scholarship portion of today's ceremony. And this year, we received 157 scholarship applications. And our committee, it's a small committee, spent a considerable amount of time reviewing, evaluating, and ultimately selecting the 2024 Legacy Scholarship recipients. You know, as is in previous years, the quality of the applicants is just tremendous, and there's just so many truly deserving individuals. Scholarships are awarded in two categories: Army women, veterans, retired, Army women who have served, regardless of component, and the lineal descendants of Army women, being their children, male, female, grandchildren, and maybe someday great-grandchildren. When evaluating, we separate the children from the Army women, just so that they don't compete against each other. And the scholarships are awarded in 4 educational pursuit categories. The first category is for those pursuing technical certifications. The next is for community college pursuits, followed by 4-year college or university degrees, and lastly, for those pursuing graduate degrees. And the applicants, they come from a wide cross-section of the eligible population, very diverse backgrounds to include different majors, colleges, states, different countries, and in particular, their life stories. And the one thing that they all have in common is Army women. They're either that extraordinary Army woman or the daughter of an amazing, extraordinary Army woman. Since 2008, we've awarded almost 400 scholarships, totaling over $700,000. Now, we know these scholarships are transformational and have the capacity to change the lives of the students who receive them. Today, on the behalf of the Army Women's Foundation and the Legacy Scholarship Program Committee, I'm proud to announce the names of 20 Legacy Scholarship recipients and their sponsors. As in the past, we are honored to have some of the sponsors and recipients with us here today. Now, most of the recipients aren't here. They either don't live close, or of course they're studying. They are in school, or so we hope. And so let me just start with the first group. Did Miss Amanda Roberts, did she make it? I know it was a tough. No, that's Ann. So sorry, yeah, it's, you know, parking was tough and there's so many kids here. But Miss Amanda Roberts was going to be here. The first set of scholarships is OptumServe, and I'll just tell you a little bit about Amanda Roberts. She's the CEO of OptumServe's Community Care Services, and they work very closely with the Department of Veterans Affairs. And so the OptumServe has sponsored 4 scholarships, and this year they are Army Woman, Specialist Emily McIver, a graduate student in the Physician's Assistance Program at the University of Washington. Army child, Julian Seeley, the daughter of not one, but 2 Army nurses. Julian is a pre-med student at Augustina University. Army woman, Audie Spear, a former Medical Service Corps officer who is a graduate student in the clinical nutrition at the University of Wisconsin. And Army child, Alexandra Warren, whose mom was an Army financial specialist. Alexander is a medical student at A.T. Still University. We want to thank OptumServe. One more shout. Amanda couldn't make it? Okay, but we thank OptumServe, and we congratulate the OptumServe. Okay, and I'm looking at a blank chair here. Deidre? Did Deidre make it? Edna. Edna, come on up. So this is the Windsor Group, and I'll just say Edna is the vice president and works for Deidre Windsor, correct? And I'll just tell you a little about Deidre. She's really a fabulous individual. She's a retired Army colonel. She's a career SCS, and she's now the president and CEO of the Windsor Group. So thank you to the Windsor Group. Yeah. So look, so let me tell you about the awardees from the Windsor Group. First, there's Army woman, PFC, Jordan Hazelman, an elementary education major at East Carolina University, and Army woman, Lieutenant Colonel Samantha Hoxa, a graduate student in Human and Organizational Learning program at George Washington University. And before I announce the next Windsor awardee, let me please invite Lieutenant Colonel Bradley Anderson. Come on up here and stand with the group. Our next Windsor awardee is PFC Caitlin Stark, who is majoring in communication studies at the University of Maryland Global Campus. Now, PFC Stark is an online student. She's stationed in Hawaii, but her dad And as I was talking to him as he came in, he said, I read her scholarship package. She's amazing, amazing, amazing gal. And he said, I trained her well. So thank you for accepting that on her behalf. And now Anne will present a certificate of appreciation to the Windsor Group. Thank you for being here. Yep. Thank you. Advisory Health. Dr. Cheryl Creamer, if you could come forward, please. All right, this year, the Army Women's Foundation is pleased to welcome a new sponsor, Advisory Health. Dr. Cheryl Creamer is a retired Army Nurse Corps colonel. She's the clinical officer and the chief clinical officer for Advisory Health. Thank you so much for being here. The Advisory Health 2024 scholars are Army child Sydney Kasner, whose mother was an Army ophthalmologist specialist. Sydney is a physician's assistant student at the Keck Graduate Institute. And Army child, Hannah Townley, an undergraduate student at Grandview University majoring in psychology. Now, neither Sydney nor Hannah could be here today, but thanks to technology, we have a video that Sydney sent. So if you could.
Hi everyone, my name is Sydney Kasner. I'm a PA student and I'm one of the lucky recipients of the Legacy Scholarship. I wanted to say thank you so much to everyone at the U.S. Army Women's Foundation. I know you all are doing a lot behind the scenes to organize and coordinate everything, and I'm so grateful to you. I also wanted to say a big thank you to the donors who've made these scholarships possible. I cannot express how honored I am that you've decided to invest in the future of people like me. Today is especially meaningful because it's my birthday, and it's also my mom's birthday. And unfortunately, in 2020, my mom passed away suddenly and unexpectedly. So that's been hard, but getting the email that I was selected as an awardee kind of felt like the greatest possible birthday present to honor both of us. And I just know that she would be so proud because she was so proud to be a veteran and she was so proud of her children. So I know that this scholarship would have meant so much to her, and it really does mean the world to me. So I wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
What a wonderful story. Thank you, Sydney. Anne will now present a certificate of appreciation to Advisory Health. Dr. Quinn, thank you so much. All right, next, the Pritzker, I shouldn't have butchered that, sorry. The Pritzker, the Military Library Museum is a continuing sponsor, and this year the scholar is, we have two, I believe, is PFC, Army woman, PFC, Carissa Bilderbacker, a combat medic who is at Louisiana State University and aspires to be a trauma-focused reconstructive surgeon. Yeah, her packet was amazing, too. Also, they all are. Army woman, Major Christine Keating, a graduate student in the Johns Hopkins Environmental Sciences and Policy Program. And so we have another video for PFC Bilderbacker. If you could.
Hi, my name is Carissa Bilderback, and I'm a 2024 Legacy Scholarship recipient. I would just like to thank all the very generous donors for making the scholarship available for me. I'm extremely grateful because this will help me pay for all my school needs, and it will help me de-stress my environment, especially when chasing a chemistry degree and going to my National Guard drills. This will also help me focus on my schoolwork to become the best undergrad student possible, and hopefully a vital asset to the Army when my career goals are met. Thank you.
Congratulations to them both. Next is Geico. Sergeant Major Sizer, please. Sergeant Major Sizer is the Geico military, director of the Geico Military Affairs team. So the 2024 Geico Military Scholar is Army child Madison Peel, a graduate student at the University of Texas Tyler, majoring in clinical mental health counseling. Madison's mom is a retired Army non-commissioned officer, the backbone of the Army, betcha, who served as a paralegal specialist. Ann is now presenting a certificate of appreciation to Geico. Command Sergeant Major, thank you so much. All right, now we got the team from Caliber Systems, General Formica and team. He's a field artillery officer. So Caliber Systems has been a sponsor for a long time, and we're so happy to have Caliber's Vice President for Strategic Initiatives, Lieutenant General Richard Formica, with us, along with his team, Miss Grace Cox, I hope I have these right, and CW4 Green, retired Green? Okay. You know, you're here. Thank Geico. Thank you all for being here. Okay, the recipient of the Caliber Systems 2024 Legacy Scholarship is Child Grace Turner. Grace, are you here? Please come forward. Grace, we don't have a video. Would you like to speak from the podium? I'm just putting her on the spot. I am. And let me just tell you that Grace, we're so pleased that you could be with us. She is a student at Georgetown University in the graduate program in security studies. So Grace, congratulations, and we are so proud of you. Round of applause. And Ann has a certificate of appreciation for Geico. So Dick, if you could, Grace, you can speak though. For those who couldn't hear, she said thank you very much. And again, thank you, Caliber Systems. Okay, the Army Women's Foundation is very happy to have a new sponsor. Keep Your Hair Headgear. Natasha, are you here? Natasha, come on up. Natasha Hines is the founder and CEO of Keep Your Hair Headgear, and she's an Army veteran. So, So the very first Keep Your Hair Headgear Scholar is Army woman, specialist Michaela DeMars, an undergraduate student at the University of Minnesota, majoring in natural resource management. Specialist DeMars is a wheeled vehicle mechanic in the Minnesota National Guard. So congratulations to Specialist DeMars. Ann will now present Keep Your Hair Headgear Certificate of Appreciation. Thank you so much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to announce another new and unique scholarship. Is Miss Andre Spratley here? Oh, God, I didn't get an opportunity to talk. Come on up and please join Jan. So, Ms. Spratley, she's from the Professional Contract Services Incorporated, and their scholarship is for disabled Army women. It's new this year. Thank you so much. Ms. Spratley is a senior manager for the PCSI People Team. Again, thank you for being here. And the first PCSI awardees are Army woman Annetta Mullins, a 100% disabled veteran who is now a police dispatcher and a graduate student studying to be a social worker at Case Western Reserve University, and Borgie Soto de Santos, a servicewoman who is 90% disabled due to combat-related injuries. Borgie is a senior at California State University at LA, majoring in rehabilitation services. So congratulations to them both. Ann's presenting a certificate of appreciation to PCSI, and thank you so much for this contribution that you've made. Now, yeah, really, good. So if I could ask Colonel Edna Cummings and Master Sergeant Elizabeth Held Fraser, perhaps strangers to many of you, doubtfully. Liz, and so the 688 Scholarship was created and dedicated in honor and recognition of the service of the women of the 688 Central Postal Directory Battalion, who served our nation in England and France during World War II. Through the efforts of 3 members of the U.S. Army's Foundation Hall of Fame, future members in front of us here, the 688 Scholarship was initiated, and it's funded through individual donations. The 3 founders of the scholarship are Brigadier General Clara Adams Ender, who couldn't be here today, Colonel Edna Cummings, and Master Sergeant Liz. So absolutely not lost on this group here, that we owe all 3 of you a great debt of gratitude for founding this scholarship, and also for so much that you've done for our Army, both past, present, and future. So the awardee of the 2024 688 Scholarship is Army child Skylar Montgomery. So, Skylar's a pre-law student at the University of California in Berkeley and has aspirations of being an Army lawyer, just like her mom. Thank you, and again to all 3 of you. I know Jim couldn't be here. Thank you again. Okay, the next scholarship is the Miss M.M. Costello Scholarship. This award is a result of a donation made to the Legacy Scholarship Program by John and Gail Howell, who have been staunch supporters of the foundation. The Howells instituted the Costello Scholarship to honor John's early mentor, Mrs. M.M. Costello. She was a dedicated Department of the Army civilian nurse who, in John's words, taught him everything he needed to know to properly care for his patients. The Howells established this scholarship to support students pursuing health care careers. This year's recipient is Army child Ivy Gillerin, a nursing student at Clayton State University. And Ivy's mom is an active duty military police master sergeant. So regrettably, if you've been here in years before, they've generally heard, regrettably John and Gail couldn't be here with us today, but we're thankful for their longstanding support, and congratulations to Ivy. Each year, the Army Women's Foundation presents scholarships in honor of two women who have had a huge impact on the role of women in the Army. The Colonel Ovetta Culp Hobby, the first director of the Women's Army Corps, and Ms. Dita Hopkins Kenny, the first superintendent of the Army's Nurses Corps. So if I could ask, oh, here they come, right on cue, Penn Fed representatives. We have with us retired Marine Corps Brigadier General Terry Williams, who's the Senior Vice President of Global Fixed Assets. We have Michelle Hart, Army veteran, and Vice President of Property Management, and also Amy Stark, Penn Fed Vice President of Talent Acquisition. Thank you for being here. So the 2024 Penn Fed Hobby Scholarship is awarded to Army Captain Sarah Sayer, a military intelligence officer who will begin her studies at the University of Pennsylvania Carey Law School in September of 2024. So thank you, Penn Fed. Congratulations, Captain Sayer, and Ann will now present Penn Fed certificate of appreciation. Thank you, General Williams, Michelle, and Amy. Okay, in the past, the Army Women's Foundation Board of Directors and Advisories has been proud to sponsor the Kenny Scholarship. Again, that's named in honor of the first superintendent of the Army Nurses Corps. This year's recipient of the Kenny Scholarship is Army woman PFC Sydney Jackman, a combat medic in the Minnesota National Guard. She is a nursing student at St. Mary's University, so congratulations. In 2018, the Army Women's Foundation and Trident University International, we formed a partnership to provide full undergraduate and graduate scholarships to Army women. To date, 8 Trident scholarships have been awarded. The latest recipients of these scholarships are First Lieutenant Michaela Davis. She's a first-generation college student in her family, and she's currently pursuing a master's degree in IT management and cybersecurity. The other scholarship this year is Major Kelly Gase, a clinical social worker who's pursuing a doctorate in healthcare administration. So congratulations to both of you. And I'll just say the Trident scholarships are on a little bit of a different schedule from the rest of the scholarships, and that window will open for this year in just a couple weeks. So I encourage you to get the word out, and all that information is on our webpage. Okay, so this year's program wouldn't be possible without the continuing support of our fabulous sponsors. We've seen many of them up here today, but I'd also like to recognize some others. First is the Army Nurses Corps Association, and the president, Colonel Karen Gaussman, I believe she's here. You could stand. Thank you, Colonel. Is Roy Harris also here? Okay, thank you so much. A second group that I want to mention, and you've already heard from them a little bit today, is the Warrant Officers Association, and representing them so many is their Chief Michael Dye. If you could all stand. Okay, all right, wait. All the Warrant Officer Association. There's quite a few. I will just also make mention that I believe they provided the wine for the reception after this. So, hey, and I'll just give one more shout out to one of our sponsors. It's Fluor. You may have heard of them. They're a stellar contributor to the foundation and to the scholarship program. They're one of the nation's oldest engineering, construction, procurement companies, and it's the company that I'm proud to work for. So thank you to Fluor. And thank you, thank you again to the ANCA and the Warrant Officers Fund. Lastly, there's 2 other people that I just want to recognize from the podium here. if you're part of the scholarship, if you're part of this, any of this, you've heard of both of them. Miss Beth Spacely, who's the director of administration of the foundation, and Jessica DeFada. If you guys could stand. So when you heard 157 packets, they're the ones who took in all that information, collated it, qualified everyone, put it together so that the committee could actually review them. They also put together this program, and none of this, they worked with all the sponsors. None of this would have happened without them. So I just personally wanted to recognize them. Thank you so much, you guys. Beth and Jessica. And I'm getting the hook as I should, but let me just say, hey, Alice, you're not here. Next time you will be. I'll be sitting. No, but Alice is the committee chair. Mary Spring is here. Mary, did I see Mary? No, Mary Spring, who's not here. No, there are the other two, Patricia Gontzowitz, and April Booth. They couldn't be here. But again, congratulations to all the scholarship recipients. We're incredibly proud of you, and thank you to our sponsors. Turn it back over to Ann.
Wow, well done, Janie. And again, congratulations to our sponsors. I'm going to give it up for Janie again. Congratulations thank you to our sponsors. Congratulations to our scholars. We wish you the very best in your studies. And Janie, well done. We appreciate that. Very well done. Very interesting. So every March during Women's History Month, we pause to remember and to honor the service and incredible legacy of extraordinary Army women. We know from history and experience the contributions and achievements of women make our Army and our nation stronger. And the next portion of today's ceremony highlights the varied and significant achievements of Army women, and that is our Hall of Fame ceremony. Today in our audience are previous members or members of the Hall of Fame. Please stand to be recognized if you are a member of the Army Women's Hall of Fame. Hosting today's Hall of Fame induction ceremony is Command Sergeant Major retired Cindy Pritchett. Command Sergeant Major Cindy Pritchett was a soldier of many firsts. She served in the Army for 37 years from July, yeah, I know, really, 37 years, and look how young she is. From July 1973, for those of you who say you weren't born yet, don't go there, to May of 2010, and as a Command Sergeant Major for more than 19 years. She holds the distinction of being the Army's first and only female senior enlisted advisor of a sub-unified combatant command in time of war. From 2004 to 2006, she served as the Command Sergeant Major to Combined Forces Command, Afghanistan. And we in the Army Women's Foundation are proud to say she is the first of 2 women to be inducted in the U.S. Army Women's Hall of Fame way back in 2009. Oh. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Command Sergeant Major retired Cindy Pritchett.
Well, that was embarrassing. Thank you, Ann. And I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you to Major General D. McWilliams, who is the one that had me as one of the first inductees into the Army Women's Hall of Fame. And as a price, you now get to be the chair of the committee to find qualified members to put into the Hall of Fame. So just so you kind of know how it works, actually now it's kind of automated. We actually have the application on our website for you to go out and nominate women to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And then we compile it all. We kind of do a board similar to what we do in the Army. And then we select the top qualified candidates. So this year, the Army Women's Foundation honors and celebrates the service of incredible legacy of women who have donned the cloth of our nation through our Hall of Fame, and it honors individuals through our Champions Awards. Our inductees' biographies have a lot of common thread that ties them together. Their noteworthy service and contributions, they broke ground, opened doors, and made the choice of a military career easier for those who followed. To help me with the inductions, I'm going to ask Ann McDonald to lend a hand. And our first inductee this afternoon is somebody that I've had the pleasure to serve with, is Lieutenant General Kathleen M. Gainey, United States Army, retired. Lieutenant General Kathleen Gainey is a distinguished Army leader, mentor, and role model. Kathy grew up in an Army family, and both she and her two brothers followed in their father in serving in the nation. Throughout her 35-year career in the Army, General Gainey helped break barriers in positions previously not held by women. She was the first woman to command a transportation heavy boat company in the 45th Support Group. She was the third woman to be promoted to Lieutenant General in the Army, and the first female to be selected to serve as the J4 on the Chairman's Joint Staff, where she led a review of dependency of contractors on the battlefield, updated guidance, and equipment divestitures for the departure of forces from Iraq, and established an interagency logistics council. Kathleen continues to serve and mentor military, civilian, and veterans community. She volunteers her time by feeding veterans at the Veterans Restoration Quarters located in Asheville, North Carolina. She keeps busy with other volunteer efforts in serving as the Western North Carolina ambassador to the Women's Military Memorial, and in her role as a senior mentor to the Female Mentoring and Morale Program. Please join me in welcoming into the Hall of Fame Lieutenant General Kathleen M. Gainey, United States Army, retired.
Wow. Very much an honor. And I want to say thank you to friends and family in the audience, because it's friends and family that make these sessions special. I want to say that I was going to come into the Army as an ROTC or as a reservist, because I was going to be a school teacher. But, you know, life changes. And I ended up coming on active duty because I couldn't find a job. Be honest, I joined ROTC for the money. But you know how the Army is. It dangles those carrots out in front of you, and so you go for one, you go for the second, and then all of a sudden, it's a career. But I wouldn't change a thing, and I am so thankful for all of the opportunities that the Army gave me. And it made me learn so much about life. It taught me everything I needed to know. That's the beauty. What else are you going to do with a special ed degree, right? I'd like to thank the soldiers and the NCOs who taught me how to listen. Taught me how to listen to the undercurrents of what they were saying. Some of them are out here, and Ellen Eckes, if you're online, you know who you are. Because they're the ones that taught me about the power of giving them voice by listening to them and going and understanding what they were talking about. Because they are the ones that are our foundation. They are the ones that hold the glue of this Army together. And if we don't listen, then we have failed them, we have failed the soldiers, and we have failed our Army. I'd like to say thank you to the friends and family that stood by me the good times and the bad times. Some of you are in the audience here. And lastly, I'd like to say thank you to my best friend. You saw him in the pictures. My husband, who's on a platform teaching today. He's been my rock. I can't think of anything more important than giving back to our nation, and that is why I volunteered today. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Major General Janine L. Burkhead, U.S. Army. Major General Janine L. Burkhead, Adjutant General of the Maryland National Guard and former Deputy Commandant for Reserve Affairs at the United States Army War College, has made exceptional contributions to empowering Army women through scholarships, grants, and educational programs. She has provided access to quality education for girls and women of color. As a mentor, she fosters confidence and leadership skills among aspiring women leaders. Major General Burkhead leads workshops and passionately advocates for policies that promote gender equality and protects women's rights. Her swift response to the COVID-19 pandemic mobilized over 1,500 soldiers for support demonstrates her operational prowess. When not serving in her official capacity, you may find her supporting flag placement at veteran cemeteries with her 2 children on Veterans and Memorial Day, supporting the Salvation Army as a bell ringer for the Red Kettle campaign, or participating in veterans outreach, fundraising, food distribution, and support of Women Veterans Initiative. On 29 February 2024, Major General Burkhead was named as one of USA Today's Women of the Year. Throughout her life, she has demonstrated a profound impact on women and the broader community on and off duty. Please join me in welcoming into the Hall of Fame Major General Janine L. Burkhead, Adjutant General.
Sisters at Arms. Ooh! The only reason I'm standing here today is because my Sisters at Arms. I mean, really, I'm accepting this because of all the fabulous work that you do. Any of you could be standing here one day in my place. So I want to thank my family, my husband, my kids are here today in the audience. My sister, thank you for being here. The foundation, thank you, Foundation, for honoring women and remembering what women do. The only way we continue to have soldiers, sailors, Marines is because we have women, right? Exactly. So it's real. Those who rock the cradle rule the world. So, Foundation, family, friends, those who have really supported me along the way, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And I want to say this, we lost our mom not too long ago, but one of the things that she would always like to say is, thank you for giving me my flowers while I'm alive. So thank you for these flowers.
Our next inductee is Major General Tammy S. Smith, retired. Major General Smith served 35 years leading and blazing trails in the Army. As the first female Deputy Commanding General of 8th Army in Korea, she led with distinction during heightened tensions, orchestrating the operational plan to evacuate U.S. nationals amidst rising dangers from North Korea. Her adept coordination of logistics and interagency efforts exponentially enhanced the potential success of evacuating over 200,000 Americans. In her last assignment, she served at the Pentagon, responsible for Army quality of life and military family policy within the Office of the Assistant Secretary of the Army, Mobilization and Reserve Affairs. She was responsible for developing innovative policy and providing oversight for the quality of life portfolio, including child and youth programs, spouse employment, soldier transition, financial readiness, morale, welfare, and recreation program policy, and more. She transitioned the Department of Defense Disabled Veterans Warrior Games into a public-private endeavor and reorganized the Army's resiliency and SHARP agencies. She is internationally recognized for her advocacy in diversity and inclusion. Major General Smith tirelessly champions these causes through her courageous example of activism, advising, and testifying. Her enduring commitment to advocate for fellow service members, coupled with her leadership, inspires future generations of soldiers, leaving a profound and lasting impact on the Army. Please join me in welcoming into the Hall of Fame Major General Tammy S. Smith, U.S. Army retired.
Thank you so much. First to the Army Women's Foundation, thank you so much for this recognition. And I'd also like to thank my dad, Jack Smith, who is a proud Navy veteran. He traveled all the way from Oregon yesterday to be here today. My Navy vet, Aunt Pat, I know you're on the line there. My dad's accompanied by my wife, Tracy, today, and Anna Coe, you know what you did. Thank you. I've attended this ceremony just many times over the years, and I recognize many of you who are Hall of Fame members, and I'm humbled by the remarkable company that I now keep. So many firsts among you, so many glass ceilings shattered, so many extraordinary soldiers who did what they love despite the barriers, including me. But I know that if we're being honest, in many cases, my generation broke through glass ceilings because the women who came before us had already cracked the glass a little bit with their exceptional service. Army nurses, including Colonel Greta Kammermeyer, those Hello Girls, the Women's Army Corps, the class of 1980 of the Military Academy, they all cracked that glass a little bit for me. I'm in awe of what the previous generation accomplished, always pushing with extraordinary performance, professionalism, such as World War II veteran Betty Little Bit Lloyd, who liked to remind me, I was a first sergeant when it was hard. You can hear her, can't you? And these women, they all stayed engaged and they cheered us on for my generation. And then we just passed through the various holes in the glass ceiling that had already been cracked. I owe you and I thank you for what you did, because I also know that no one cracks that glass ceiling a little bit without getting cut by the glass. With recognition comes responsibility. My responsibility is to follow the example already set for us by previous generations of Army women and to make sure that all the doors that have been opened stay open. To help organizations like the Army Women's Foundation do the work, visibly leveraging our voices, our experience, and in some cases our access to decision makers to make sure the Rangers, the assistant division commanders, the tank platoon leaders, the new mothers, the pathfinders, the snipers, the postal clerks, all continue to do what they love. To those who are still serving, go after what you want with all your heart. We've got you. We're going to keep those doors open. And again, thank you so much for this recognition. It's a highlight of my career.
Our next inductee is Brigadier General Maureen K. LaBeouf, U.S. Army retired. A little story. I have a little connection with West Point. Back in 1976, I went there as a drill sergeant to help take firsties as they prepared to bring on the new class. So it was a very interesting experience. Never thought I'd say I'd be at West Point. And it turns out one day, a group of soldiers were coming back through Beast Barracks, and was the first class of West Point that was going through. It wasn't Ann McDonald. It was a cadet named Ann Schwartz, who was a private in my basic training company when I was a drill sergeant who volunteered to be in the first class. Ann spotted me. I didn't spot her. But it just gave me this connection with West Point that I've always treasured. Brigadier General Maureen K. LaBeouf spent 28 years in the U.S. Army, where she held various staff and leadership positions, as well as flew UH-1 helicopters in the continental United States and Europe. Most noteworthy was her assignment as a professor and head of the Department of Physical Education at the United States Military Academy at West Point from 1997 until her retirement in 2004. Her position carried a unique title, Master of the Sword. She was the first woman to chair the department at West Point since its founding in 1802. An educator, author, and keynote speaker, Maureen is a senior advisor and faculty member at Thayer Leadership at West Point, where she educates and inspires leading corporate executives. Author of the book, Developing a Philosophy of Living and Leading One Moment at a Time, Maureen is sought after as a speaker around the topics of leadership and wellness. She is currently serving as a member of Mission Readiness, a group of retired admirals, generals, and top military leaders who are working to strengthen national security by ensuring kids stay in school, stay fit, and stay out of trouble. She currently serves as the chair of the USO of North Carolina, supporting service members and their families. Please join me in welcoming to the U.S. Army Hall of Fame, Brigadier General Maureen K. LeBoeuf, U.S. Army retired.
Good afternoon. Ma'am, they might make these in brown, you know, the big 3-inch heel. Just trying to help a sister out. So a special thank you to the dignitaries and all the sponsors, especially those who are providing the wine for the reception. And to you and your team, I know what kind of work it takes to put an event like this together. It's a lot of work, and thank you to you and the team for making this afternoon so very, very special. To the other women being recognized here today, I'm proud to be a part of your cohort because you're all very, very special and accomplished women. I give a keynote that's titled Moments That Matter. And for me, this is a moment that matters. So thank you. With me today is my husband, Colonel Retired Joe LeBoeuf, my best friend, my life partner, and I am so fortunate to have a husband who shared the same profession that I had. Joe always knew when to offer advice, and because he's a smart guy, he knew when to listen. Our son Jay is with us today, and as we like to say, Jay went into the family business. I am often asked, what is the hardest thing I have ever done? Having a child in a combat zone. And Jay's girlfriend, Regina Sika, who is a very successful marketing executive in Washington, D.C. And our daughter, Jackie, who served as a military spouse for 5 years, and her husband, Stephen, who served as a Marine for 5 years. I have to say he's a graduate of the Naval Academy, and we love him anyway. And our only grandchild, Keegan, who is in the back there, and because she loves Paw Patrol, sometimes she's called Sky, and sometimes she's called Chase, but maybe someday Keegan will get one of those foundation scholarships. Currently, she is our only grandchild. And also sharing this day is my niece and goddaughter, my sweet Caroline, who is an Army brat, and her daughter, Sienna. And of course, I need to mention a very special battle buddy, Brigadier General retired Becky Halstead. Becky was in the cohort last year. I have the honor of working with Becky at their leadership, and as a result, I am a better leader. And finally, Jody Berg, an amazing lady and a member of the Thayer leadership team. And I do have to give a shout out for any family members out there. I'm one of 9 children. I'm the middle child of 9, which explains a lot. If they are out there watching, I know it is out of sheer curiosity. But thanks to all of you for your presence. You truly honor me with your presence. As I stand here, it is hard not to reflect on the soldiers and cadets with whom I had the honor to serve with. And I often think of Sergeant First Class Brogdon and Sergeant First Class Kennedy, who took me to the motor pool when I was a young second lieutenant and taught me how to do a technical inspection on a deuce and a half. As well as the countless soldiers and cadets who taught me so very, very much. I am in a book club, and recently we read the book, A Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. And in that book, she talks about attending a celebration with women who are very accomplished and successful in TV. And as the host went around and introduced and spoke about each one of those women and her accomplishments, she noticed 3 things. The woman would either put their head down and shake in embarrassment, duck her head, embarrassed look on her face, or laugh mortified and embarrassed. And I'm sure the women being recognized here today have a similar feeling, or when you're being introduced, simply think, stop talking about me. But the reality is, we are powerful and accomplished women. Were there people who helped us along the way? Absolutely. Could we have done this alone? Absolutely not. However, at the end of the day, when we were alone in our offices, we were the ones wearing that heavy mantle of leadership. I'm sure you have all heard of that blockbuster movie, Barbie. Even if you did not play with Barbie growing up, I did. Barbie pink nail polish today. When one of the Barbies gets up to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, she simply says, I did work hard. Thank you. While I am humbled to be recognized today by the Army Women's Foundation because of all you have done and continue to do for Army women and veterans for 55 years, I am not going to shake my head or duck in embarrassment or laugh by what has been said about me. I will simply say, I did work hard. Thank you.
Our next inductee is no stranger to the Army Women's Foundation. She's one of our past treasurers. Our next inductee is Brigadier General Belinda H. Pinckney, U.S. Army retired. Didn't know you brought a fan club. Brigadier General Belinda H. Pinckney is a trailblazer and a role model, achieving many firsts in her 34-year career in the United States Army. Being the first woman to be promoted to Brigadier General in the U.S. Army Finance Corps' 248-year history, and the first woman to command the Army's Family, Morale, Recreation, and Welfare Command. Brigadier General Pinckney commanded at all levels with distinction. Throughout her service, was a staunch advocate for diversity and inclusion, providing mentorship to all and serving as an epitome of thoughtful, caring, mission-focused leadership. As the Army's Chief Diversity Officer, she developed for the first time the Army Strategic and Implementation Plan for diversity and inclusion, serving 1.2 million Army, National Guard, and Reserve military and civilian personnel. Army senior leadership referred to the plan as Pinckney's diversity plan, and it has been used by other DoD and non-governmental agencies. Her service and commitment to others continues in retirement, where she volunteers on various boards for veterans organizations, honoring the service and ensuring fair and equal treatment at all and leveling the playing field for all. Please join me in welcoming into the Hall of Fame Brigadier Retired Belinda H. Pinckney, U.S. Army retired.
To God be the glory for the great things he has done. And he continues to do great things as we're witnessing here in this awesome event. I'd also like to thank the staff and all of the great people who put this together, because this is not easy, and it's by the grace of God that you do what you do, and I say thank you. Beth, you saved me once again. She knows what I'm talking about. So I'm very blessed to have a great family. My husband, we both were in the military, and at one time he decided that somebody loved it, wasn't him, and so he was going to get out early and make life better for us as a family, and he did that. And so now we have a grandson also here, and he's been living with us for a while, and he's graduating from high school this year, so we're happy about the fact that he's going to be moving on. I have really been blessed and awesome. I literally almost died a couple of years just before I retired, and that wasn't the only time that I had had some problems. So I loved what I was doing, and because of that, I decided to stay in, and God just did some amazing things. There are some people in this room that I want to stand, because I was really blessed and fortunate. Every time I did something, going from company command to battalion command to brigade command, and then commanding general 3 different times, it was when I did one thing, the blessing was, hopefully I felt like I was doing a good job, I got another job. And so people think that it was because of me. I just had an awesome group of people. And they're in this room, many of them are in this room today. I'd just like for them to stand so you can just see just how awesome the work that we did mattered. And I wasn't the leader. Actually, I love being the leader, but I was smart enough to know that my job was to be the resource. My job was to provide the means for them to do their work, and they all loved what they did, and that's really the reason why we were successful. So anybody that's in this room that's worked with me, for me, I would like for you to stand, because you're the ones that made it happen for me. And they're still doing great work. Now, there's one person in here that has known me longer than anybody other than my husband. In fact, I used to lend her my husband. She's smiling because she knows who I'm talking about. That is D. McWilliams when she was a first lieutenant and I was a specialist, and she convinced me to go to officer candidate school. And I used to lend her my husband, too. I'm joking. That was because she loved talking about how to make her money make money, and my husband was really great at that. So I'm joking, but I'll tell you, I have led a blessed life. From coming in as a private first class, meeting D as a specialist, convincing me to go to officer candidacy school and going from that to becoming a general officer. I'm still grateful, and we're still doing some great things, and everybody that stood in that audience, they know what they did. It was because of them that I was able to do what I did. So thank you very much. You're one of them.
You just wanted to show everybody you're still a spring chicken. And probably gave Phyllis a heart attack. Nah. Okay. Our next inductee is Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson Kelly, U.S. Army retired. Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson Kelly epitomizes extraordinary service and dedication to veterans. She is a military veteran of the United States Air Force, Army, and Navy Reserves, having served our nation collectively for 26 years. Truly joint. She recently completed a 4-year term as the national president of the National Association of Black Military Women, with chapters across the United States, where she championed the rights of women's veterans, leading to unprecedented progress in the support systems nationwide. Her leadership resulted in vital programs, increased funding, and comprehensive care guidelines, significantly improving the lives of countless women in the military. Patricia's commitment to collaboration was evident in quarterly meetings with community providers, ensuring evolving needs were met. Her role as a catalyst for positive change was underscored by her appointment to the Sexual Assault and Harassment Prevention Task Force by the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Patricia's exemplary service has been recognized by numerous awards and commendation by several organizations, and stands as a testament to her legacy as a trailblazer in veterans programs and advocacy. Please join me in welcoming into the Hall of Fame Lieutenant Colonel Patricia Jackson Kelly, U.S. Army retired. Or you can walk back that way.
You know I have my marching orders. Thank you for the incredible introduction. It epitomizes my journey and the exhaustion, but afterwards, my resilience and determination for this journey. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, family, friends, and fellow veterans, and my fellow inductees, the class of 2024. It is with a heart full of gratitude and humility that I stand before you today, feeling immensely blessed by God for this recognition. I want to extend a special thanks to my dear friend, Master Sergeant Elizabeth Liz Hem Frazier, who, amidst her busy schedule, found the time to nominate me for this honor. My gratitude also goes out to the committee members for seeing something in me worthy of this distinction. Brigadier General Wilma Vaught once said, "In the military, I found a sense of purpose and a direction that I wanted to go with my life. Its recognition to remember the leadership is not a gift, but a skill that horns through determination, integrity, and the courage to stand up for what's right, no matter the odds. Today, I echo the sentiments and express my deepest gratitude to the U.S. Army National Women's Foundation for recognizing and nurturing the skills within me. Since its inception in 1969, I've stood on the shoulders of many greats, Brigadier General Clara Adams Ender, Brigadier General Wilma Vaught, and herself, Colonel Edna Cummins, and my dear friend Liz Helm Frazier. The valiant members of the 6th 888 Postal Battalion and countless others. These pioneers have paved the way for not just for me, but for themselves and all of us that would follow. My genuine introduction to this remarkable organization came through Liz, who spoke of it often. However, I was not really fully recognizing it until I attended the ceremony last year to support Lieutenant Colonel Carlton Philpott. I did not realize the full impact of the community, and it stuck with me as I was mesmerized by the proceedings. A dream took place in my heart, a dream that, as I stand here today, has been realized. Let me assure you, dreams do come true. This moment is not just about me. It's a tribute to every woman who has served in the Army or who is serving in the Army. It is for those that believe in the power of dreams and the unstoppable force of determination. It is for every person who has been a part of my journey, my mentors, my peers, my family, and friends. And some of those people are here today. At this time, I would like for all of my posse to please stand. Thank you. As I accept this honor, I'm reminded that leadership is not just about guiding others. It's about igniting a spark within them. It's about showing the courage, resilience, and integrity that can change not just the trajectory of our own lives, but also those of the people around us. In closing, I want to leave you with a thought. Let us all ignite the spark in someone else. Let us light up the darkness and our courage and our kindness. Together, we can continue to break barriers, forge new paths, and uplift one another, because when we lift each other up, we rise together. Thank you, Army Women's Foundation, for this incredible honor. Thank you to everyone who has been a part of my journey, the moment for us all. Standing in gratitude.
Okay, yeah, everybody get ready to hold your ears because I know it's coming. Our next inductee is Chief Warrant Officer 5, Yolandria Dixon Carter. See, I told you. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Yolandria Dixon Carter, is a transformative leader who served five combat deployments and holds the distinction of being the first woman to serve as the Senior Warrant Officer Advisor to the Chief of Staff of the Army. A fierce advocate for women's advancement in the Army, she has long championed diversity, equity, and inclusion, fearlessly speaking truth to power to ensure all voices are heard. Her transparent leadership style inspires trust and confidence among soldiers and leaders alike. Her favorite quote is extremely insightful and speaks to the essence of who she is as a soldier, leader, and humble, selfless servant. Quote, "To build a strong team, you must see someone else's strength as a complement to your weakness, not a threat to your position or authority," unquote. Anonymous. Beyond her military service, she dedicates herself to community service and volunteerism, actively contributing to organizations such as Top Ladies of Distinction and the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. She believes in and helps to develop and strengthen strong community ties. Please join me in welcoming into the Hall of Fame Chief Warrant Officer 5, Yolandria Dixon Carter, U.S. Army.
Wow. I'm trying to keep my head up and not my head down, right? But to God I give all the glory, because had it not been for him, I would not be here today. I want to say to my family, please stand. Please stand. I know you didn't see you up here. But I love you all. Thank you so much for being here today. Love you, love you, love you. Protocol has already been set, but I thank you all, distinguished leaders and guests, for being here. I wanted to do something a little different with my remarks. So if I don't call your name, if I don't speak to who you are today, this is me saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. But I have to say thank you to the Women's Foundation for putting this together, and for the Military Women's Memorial for allowing us to be in this sacred space on today. These ladies have done phenomenal and continue to do phenomenal. I am appreciative to Colonel Retired Doreen Hurt, who put her name, her reputation, her character on the line to nominate me for this distinguished recognition. So I thank you so much for that. I thank the Top Ladies of Distinction, the National Coalition for 100 Black Women. I thank the Warrant Officer cohort. I thank the General Officers and the Colonels, the Sergeant Majors, and everybody that is in this room on today. Thank you so much. I would like to share with you, because I am a product of the images that have woven fabrics and made me who I am. So I want to share with you that I am the fabric, I am the image of the unseen, the abandoned, and the rejected, but yet I overcame. I am the image of the oppressed and depressed, but I had enough hope to progress. I am the image of abuse, insecurity, and imposter syndrome, but I didn't let it stop me. I am the image of grief, a grief that almost took me out, but God. I am the image of those that have gone before me and blazed the trail to light my way. I am the image of women who were told they couldn't make it, but yet they did. I am the image of silence that speaks volumes and the impact that closed the mouths of those that spoke against me. I am the image of the first who worked very hard to not be the last. I am the image of setbacks, but learned to be humble and better and not bitter in my comeback. I am the image of women who was not stuck on how we started, but was focused on how we would finish. I am the image of community, knowing that together we can and we will do it better. I am the image of my tribe, my village, my circle of friends, my warrant officers who are unafraid to do it scared. I am the image of warrant officers who are specialized in strategic leaders, officers, trainers, advisors, combat-proven technicians who are called to tackle the most complex problem and excel.
I am the image of a soldier that had no clue what I wanted to be, but was given opportunities and told, DC, in the Army, you can be all you can be. I am the image of faith. All you need is a mustard seed and the word operating in your life. I am the image of my mother who cannot be with us today because she is in heaven watching upon me. Her words still ring loud and she said, you are somebody. I am the image of my aunt who taught me the value of me, DC. I am the image of my father who defeated untimely death. I am the image of my children who understood the call to serve, Shantiria and Rashad. I am the image of my grandchildren who are here today, who embodies a winning attitude. I am the image of my husband who served 31 years in the United States Army and who sees me for who I am, who loves me in spite of my its and my isms, my flaws and my alls. I am the image of this room. I am the image of love, the love that fills this room, the love that lifts me up, the love that allows me open dialogue, the love that tells me that I am victorious, the love that empowers me to be mad, to make a difference through time, to talk, to inspire, to mentor, and to engage, because everyone needs time. So my friends, today, I accept this recognition, this honor, and I thank you for your time. I thank you for making a difference in my life. Thank you for seeing beyond my faults and believing in me and trusting me. I thank my warrant officers, especially my CW5s, who raised me up, who encouraged me, who lift me each and every day. The warrant officer cohort who has allowed me a platform that General McConville gave me to speak and be the voice for you. But more importantly, I thank my family. I thank my closest friends, my circle of trust, and each and every one of you for your love. I am because you are. So thank you. God bless you. I'm honored to accept this distinguished title in the image of you.
Whew. This makes this a hard act to follow, you know? But I'm going to continue on. I am really honored to be able to induct this next person. We happened to serve together while I was on active duty, and this is just a real privilege for me. Our next inductee is Command Sergeant Major Donna A. Brock, U.S. Army retired. I don't know, I think your group out-yelled the warrant officer group. We'll have to have a shout-off later. Command Sergeant Major Donna A. Brock's 35-year Army career exemplifies groundbreaking achievements and unwavering dedication to soldiers and families. Serving as the Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Surgeon General of the U.S. Army and the Regimental Command Sergeant Major of the U.S. Army Medical Command, she broke barriers by being a part of the first all-woman leadership team at the top of the medical field. Her leadership and advocacy played a crucial role in addressing the complexities of combating a two-front war while delivering exceptional health care to soldiers, families, retirees, and veterans. Donna remains active in leader development, coaching over 700 senior Army leaders and civilians, and facilitating 250 seminars. As a community coach for Together with Veterans, she assists rural communities in establishing grassroots suicide prevention and education programs. She is a lifetime member of Women's Veterans Interactive, serves on the board for Military Child Education Coalition, serves as a lifetime member and on the board of the International Association for Military Women of Color, and on the Military Advisory Committee for Trident University International. She has dedicated her life towards the service of others, which includes teaching, coaching, and mentoring young leaders, and the advancement of future women leaders. Donna's example of service is a legacy of leadership and advocacy, inspiring countless of individuals. Please join me in welcoming my friend to the Hall of Fame, Command Sergeant Major Donna A. Brock, U.S. Army.
Thanks, Liz, I know. I don't know why they put me behind this woman. But that's fine, that's fine. I have my own flowers to give. Okay, so, hi, my name is Brock, and I'm a soldier. But now that's how I introduced myself while I was on active duty, so let me reintroduce myself. My name is Brock, and I'm a proud woman veteran. So first and foremost, thank you, Army Women's Foundation and the Military Women's Memorial for hosting this wonderful ceremony, just like everyone else has said. I stand here with my fellow Hall of Famers, so proud and so fitting here on these hallowed grounds. I humbly, and I truly mean this, I humbly accept this recognition with my family in our presence. I want everyone to know that everything I do is for them. They continue to give my life meaning and purpose. And I know you're going to be mad at me, but I know you're in the back, but I want you all to stand. Those that are here today, my two best friends, my brother and sister. My brother Mike is a retired Marine. As you can see, they were wearing his hat. And my sister is a retired techie. I call her techie. She did something in that world. And then please, where'd my daughter go? Oh, there you are. And I have to send flowers to my daughter here. She just got promoted, in my world, and she is going to be a principal at her elementary school. And I also have to give thanks to where's my little, no, there she is, my granddaughter, 6 years old. I'm pretty sure she's saying, Grandma, hurry up, we need cake. But thank you. And the rest of my family, my son, I have to give shout out to my son John. He's finally became the engineer that he wants to be, and he is a veteran, as well as my grandson and my grandson Hudson, who is 8 years old, and my daughter-in-law. So I want to give those shout outs. So I'm very proud, as you can see, of my children. I'm here because of all the soldiers and civilians that have not only come before me, but have crossed my path. And they're the reason really here for this special day. It's not about me, for sure. I continue to give back to my veteran community and leaders across the federal government. That is what I do. This is who I am, and this is what makes me happy and fulfilled. And as everybody know, or if you know me, my mantra is, it's all about people. And I live it, and I breathe it, and I believe it. Now, I belong to several groups, so if I don't give shout outs, I know I'm gonna get yelled at, and a lot of them are here. So first of all, Class 50, Sergeant Major's Academy. Where are you at? I know you're back there. My Military Child Education Coalition, I'm a part of. The Women's Veterans Interactive, I'm part of. International Association of Military Women of Color, IAMWOC. Where are you at? Together with veterans, I work with a suicide prevention program with the VA, and it's really close to my heart. I go out to rural communities, and we start these grassroots organizations, and I tell you, it's something that's really dear to my heart. To serve together, this brooch that I'm wearing, if you want to know all about it, Google "to serve together" and then call me. And of course, I have to shout out my True Growth family, which is here. Shane Deverell, I worked with, and Gary Spear, General Spear. The two that I work with for True Growth, and Bob Dare, I know you're watching, so I want to make sure to give you a shout out, but my whole True Growth family, I really do appreciate. And last but not least, of course, I have to shout out to Army Women's Foundation, because I am a part and a member of them, and the Army Medical Department, Hua Patty Horoho, General Horoho, if you're out there, thank you so much. She's my battle buddy, my best friend for life, for sure. So in closing, I just want to leave you with a few tidbits. Life is short. Life is too short. Reach out to someone that you haven't seen or talked to in a while. You'll never know, you'll put a smile on their face. Smile for no reason. I mean, there's no reason to be frowning out here. We need to smile more. Be kind. Check on your buddies. Be your authentic self and take care of yourself. You don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of nobody else. Remember that. Live a good life on purpose and with a sense of purpose. Be grateful. Don't take anything for granted. Connect, 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 and put love out in the world. Finally, I want to thank each and every one of you for your constant support. If it weren't for you, none of us, past and present, would be here in celebration. And continue to support your military, our military, and take a moment to hug or acknowledge someone in your presence. Hug someone because they're in your presence. You never know, you just might make their day. Thank you very much, and I really do appreciate it.
Our next inductee is Miss Lucy Del Gaudio, U.S. Army veteran. U.S. Army veteran Lucy Del Gaudio is an extraordinary leader whose advocacy and unwavering commitment to reforming military policies have left an indelible mark on the armed services. In 2020, she was part of a grassroots movement that spearheaded efforts to overhaul Army sexual harassment and misconduct policies, leading to the #MeToo military movement. Her pivotal testimony before the House Armed Services Committee shed light on systemic sexual harassment and perceived retaliation, resulting in tangible reforms in the armed services. Recognized for exemplary leadership, Lucy was appointed by New Jersey Governor Phil Murray to the New Jersey Commission for Women Veterans and by the Honorable Dennis McDonough, Secretary of Veterans Affairs, to the Veterans Affairs Sexual Assault and Harassment Prevention Work Group. Lucy has volunteered for the Pink Berets and Minority Veterans of America. She has been recognized by several organizations for her work, which stands as a testament to her legacy as a trailblazer in veterans support and advocacy. Lucy's leadership will continue to impact the future of the Army and the entire defense community. Please join me in welcoming into the Hall of Fame, Ms. Lucy Del Gaudio, U.S. Army veteran.
Wow. Thank you so very much. This is such an honor. Thank you to the Army Women's Foundation. I was introduced by the foundation by the great late Steve Robinson. I worked with Steve Robinson in Prudential, and I have no idea how he found out I was an Army veteran, but he came to my desk and told me, Lucy, are you free next week? And I said, why? And he said, I need you to come to Washington, D.C. and attend this wonderful event. And that was the same day I met the wonderful Phyllis Wilson. So thank you. I have to take a moment and I have to apologize to Edna Cummings. And I'm going to apologize because Edna approached me about the nomination. And I didn't think I deserved it. But the Edna Cummings that we all know and love is a very persistent woman. And she sent me emails every week. And then the email turned into every day. And then the email turned into a text. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give her what she needs for this nomination. So thank you, because you are beyond words, and I love you dearly. To my husband and my children, my husband's here today, my children are watching. for their love and support. When I testified in 2020, it was the first time I openly talked about my assault. And they were the glue that kept this china cup together because I was very broken. And they kept me together, so thank you for keeping me together. I have to call on the Me Too military movement, as we called ourselves the grassroots movement. It was a fierce time in 2020. It was a reckoning for many of us, and especially with the untimely death of Specialist Vanessa Guillen. So we all couldn't sit and rest while the nation was going through this turmoil, especially our women in the military. So I have to thank Erin Kirkhomo, Stephanie Gata, Stephanie Merlot for always standing by my side. But I have to really recognize two individuals that reminded me to organize my butterflies the day I testified, and that is Melissa Bryant and Lindsay Church. They changed my life, and for them, this induction is as much them as it is much me. So with that, thank you to the class that I'm within. You are all extraordinary women, and I'm so honored to be part of you all. And I thank you very much, but I have to say a few words. My friend Bonnie, who's here with me today, sent me this right before I got on stage, and she told me to not bow your head. Hold it high and look. Skyward you are, and you are the child and the ruler of the universe. She from which all moments, all time was birthed. She before clocks ticked on earth. She, the original being, now stands permanently in the here and the now. So thank you very much, and thank you all.
Our last honorees this afternoon are our special recognition and champion awardees. Our first awardee is Sergeant First Class LaToya Green, U.S. Army. All right, NCOs rule. I like it. Sergeant First Class LaToya Green championed on behalf of Army women and men to change AR 600-9 height, weight, and body composition standards. As an influential figure in the fitness industry and as a mentor, Sergeant First Class Green utilized her substantial social media following to generate awareness regarding the U.S. Army guidance on height, weight, and body composition as outlined in AR 600-9. Determined to make a change, she launched a campaign to challenge an outdated policy and to promote diversity within the Army. Sergeant First Class Green spent her PCS leave at Fort Liberty, where the first study was being conducted, to get personnel to volunteer. While stationed in Korea, she used social media to get personnel at Fort Gregg Adams, where the second study was conducted, to volunteer. She sat on panels, went to different social media platforms, and stayed in communication with leaders that oversaw the study. As a direct result of her unwavering efforts, considerable progress has been achieved in the pursuit of fair and inclusive standards to accommodate individuals with higher levels of muscle mass. Her exceptional leadership, dedication, bravery, and steadfast commitment to equality and inclusivity have left an enduring mark on the U.S. Army. Please join me in welcoming our special recognition champion awardee, Sergeant First Class LaToya Green.
Can y'all hear me? Okay, don't count this towards my time. I want to say it is an honor to be being inducted with all of you amazing women. I am so honored. But you know, every room I go into, I know I'm supposed to be there. So don't count that towards my time. Okay. So, first of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, because without him, I am absolutely nothing. I'm absolutely nothing. I want to thank the amazing woman, Miss Natasha Hines, who nominated me to be a part of this. When your intentions are pure, you don't care about recognition. So I wasn't expecting anything from doing this. I was just doing it out of the kindness of my heart because it was something that needed to be done. I want to thank two of my Army children, Sergeant Anthony Rouse and Sergeant Berlene Laborde. They were with me throughout this whole process. I want to thank my actual kids, my fur babies, if y'all didn't see them. My dog, Purpose, and my cat, DeMonte. Yes, that's his name, don't do that. I love them, and they see the emotions. They see the emotions that no one else sees, so they are my emotional support. I would like to thank my best friend, First Sergeant Janina Simmons. I love you so much. I thank you for always being there with me. Although you never were taped or anything like that, you still had my back. And you know what I'm saying? She didn't even know the struggle, but it's okay. It's okay. But just, you still had my back, and I appreciate you for that. I want to thank every podcast that I was allowed to be on while I was going through this, NCOPD Live, Army Reenlistment, Battle to Battle podcast, and the Lion's Den. Thank you all so much for allowing me on your platforms and allowing me to share my story there. I would like to thank every veteran, soldier, junior leader, and officer who signed my petition, who had my back, who told me their stories. Thank you so much, because you all are the ones that kept me going. To those officers that were sending me doctrine, thank you so much, and helping me to speak facts and not feelings. I appreciate that. I want to thank every single person who did not believe in me, who turned their back on me, or who actually distanced themselves from me while I was going through this. I want to thank you, because you showed me how strong I really am. You showed me how strong I really am, and you taught me to never look for leadership in a rank, title, or position, but to look for leadership in a person. And last but not least, in regards to the thank yous, I would like to thank myself. Absolutely. I want to thank me for putting my purpose over my pride. I want to thank me for being a true steward of the profession, and I want to thank me for not just acknowledging a problem, but being a part of the solution and seeing it through to the end. Okay, y'all like that? So, with the cards that I was dealt, I'm not supposed to be here. My mother was on drugs when she had me. I ran to the Army because I had a troubled childhood. I was not a good soldier at all. Like, I would have kicked me out. I was not a good soldier, but once I learned to stop making my trauma my personality, the blinders came off. Once I stopped making my trauma my personality, the blinders came off, and I was able to not just recite the creed of the non-commissioned officer, but actually live it. So then, so I was able to use social media to communicate consistently with soldiers and never leave them uninformed. I was able to use social media to give all soldiers that outstanding leadership that they are entitled to. And I am standing here today because my two basic responsibilities were uppermost in my mind, which were the accomplishment of my mission and the welfare of those soldiers. So that's why I am here. So, the Army's definition of leadership is influencing people by providing purpose, direction, and motivation in order to accomplish the mission and improve the organization. I did that. I didn't talk about it. I didn't get up here and give quotes about it. I did it because leadership is a sight, not a sound. That's what I did. So we can't teach leadership, and we can't teach leadership and get mad when people live it. So I'm just proud that I was able to live it. I want to thank every single person, all the soldiers that may be watching that look up to me. Thank you so, so much to that person whose passion is always seen as being emotional, that person whose natural facial expression makes people deem them unapproachable, that person who feels like they have to work 10 times harder just to be recognized, and that person who every time they go somewhere, they feel like they have nothing to prove, they have something to prove. You have nothing to prove to anyone except for the person that you were yesterday. I appreciate this. Thank you so much. This, to me, embodies Army of One, Army Strong, and Song First Class Latoya, no middle name Green, is the epitome of, I am the epitome of joining the Army and being all you can be. Thank you so much.
I don't know, man. I am amazed. Our last awardee of the afternoon, but certainly not least, is Miss Phyllis Abbott, a veteran advocate. Miss Phyllis Abbott is the founder and board member of Lady Veterans Connect. Lady Veterans Connect was originally incorporated as Shepherd's Hands in 2012 in Missouri to serve veterans. After much research, Phyllis identified that women veterans are the least served in the veteran community, as well as the fastest growing segment of the homeless population. She then made the decision to return to Lexington, Kentucky, to begin operations in 2015 and amending the name of the organization to Lady Veterans Connect to align with the mission of the organization that assists female veterans in the transitional support to prevent homelessness. She is also the founder and co-chair of Veterans Resources United of Central Southeastern Kentucky, connecting veterans, family members, caregivers, National Guard reservists, and community leaders as the My VA community for the 43 counties served by the Lexington Veterans Administration Hospital. Her extraordinary leadership and commitment to veterans enabled the opening of 2 transitional healing homes in Kentucky for women veterans. These homes have been a life-changing event for many homeless women veterans. Ms. Abbott's exceptional leadership and selfless service, supporting and assisting women veterans, continues to make an indelible impact on women veterans' lives and their futures. Please join me in welcoming our Special Recognition Champion Awardee, Ms. Phyllis Abbott, Veteran Advocate.
I'm speechless, but for all you all have done here and what your contributions to our country and to the military and what you've done afterwards. I'm very humbled to be part of this. Thank you, Liz Helms-Frazier, for thinking I was worthy and nominating me. This is not, what I do is not about me. It's all about the women veterans that we serve. And as I went through this program of, hey, how can I serve? Because when I first had my vision what I wanted to do with veterans, I just didn't know where there was a need the most. I spent almost 2 years reading, researching, talking to people, and the more I read and saw, women veterans need recognition and programs and services for them, especially our homeless women, since they are the fastest growing segment of our homeless population. So we're trying to change life one person at a time, and hopefully, and whatever they need to be successful. In our home in Winchester, we can have up to 32 women veterans living in a transitional housing program. And they don't always have to be homeless. They may be going through trauma in their life. They just need a place to come and heal. We have one lady in our program now. She came to us because she needs that retreat. She needs to go. She's dealing from some personal trauma in her life, and we're just there to support her and help her. And we've had that in the past. The one that broke my heart, though, that we couldn't help is I had one of the women veterans. She applied to be in our program, and she was going through a domestic violence issue. But she ended up going back to her husband because she said, I know what to expect from him. I don't know how to survive in the world on my own. Which we need to change those attitudes because that needs to be changed. You don't have to be in a position where you can't get the services you need, and you can be on your own. You can succeed, and we encourage it, that. And also today, I want to recognize two of our board members that came with me, Addie Maddox, Monica Dean, and we are an all-volunteer organization, so I recognize, honor, and empower them. They work so many hard hours every week to support our women veterans. So it's really all about them and what they do. This award is for them, not for me. And I want to thank you all for the feeling that I'm worthy of this, Liz, and I will continue to do what I can to honor our women veterans. Thank you all.
So lastly, through our partnership with the Army Women's Museum at Fort Gregg Adams, we have been able to secure a place and house a permanent Hall of Fame and Champion Awards plaque listing all your names, which will be there in perpetuity or as long as the museum is still in. But with many thanks, we want to thank Tracy Bradford, the curator of the Army Women's Museum at Fort Gregg Adams. I think she's in the audience. Please stand. Is she here today? Anyway, we thank you, Tracy, for your support. And now I'd like to turn the podium back over to Brigadier General McDonald for closing remarks.
Cindy, unbelievable. I just have to say, she put all that together. Cindy, that was marvelous. Marvelous. Congratulations to the class of 2024. Hua. 21 March 2024 goes down in the books. Wow. Wow. I am telling you, I have been at this ceremony for the past 8 years, and this was the bomb. This was it. Wow. So, totally inspiring, just awesome, awesome, awesome. Earlier, we announced that this program is recorded. I know that many of you will go back and re-watch and hear those words of inspiration, the words of courage, humility. It's all going to be available on the Army Women's Foundation website. I think we actually have a YouTube channel that it will be on, but we'll make sure we post that on the Army Women's Foundation webpage so you know where to go, so you can watch that. If you need that pick-me-up, that's where you're going to go. Okay, as we get ready to conclude, there are a lot of thank yous that I need to say, and yes, I could rush this because I know we all need to go to the bathroom, but I just want to take my time to say thank you. So first off, to our sponsors and our partners, thank you so much for the corporate sponsors and our individual donors who are so generous with their resources, their time, their treasure. Thank you for your generosity to sustain our work, and equally as important, thank you for celebrating with us today. And where would we be without the board of directors for this foundation? We are a working board. We are a volunteering board. And I'll tell you, the work that you saw here today was done by these ladies and gentlemen that you see right here. Sitting in the bottom left corner is Angie Holbrook. She has been running the show in the back of the room. Angie, you're awesome. Give it up for Angie. You know, it takes strength, courage to be the only gentleman to sit on a board for the Army Women's Foundation, but he is confident. He is one of our team members, and he was the leader for this. He's the program's chair. And Walt, I don't know where you are. You're over here. Walter, the gentleman with the bow tie. Walt, you are awesome. We appreciate you greatly. You've already heard their names mentioned previously, and that's Beth Spitzley and Jessica Tafada, and I have to tell you, they are the ones holding us up at Fort Gregg Adams. They're part of our part-time staff. But I want to tell you, how many times when you asked a question, did you get an answer right away? All right, Beth and Jessica, thank you so much for everything that you do. We absolutely appreciate you, and I hope you know how much that I appreciate you. Okay, let's see where we are. To the Women's Memorial. This is a special place. We've already heard it's a historic place. This is our home. And Phyllis, you rolled the red carpet out for us, and we appreciate that greatly. A little bit more from you later. But I do want to talk about the Army Women's Foundation, some of our programs. If you'll direct your attention to the slide, you'll see these are the things that we do. If you'd like to learn more about us, if you'd like to volunteer with the organization, please go to our website and learn more. One of the things is the mentoring program, the Female Mentoring Morale Program. There is a program tonight. Now, some of you may have you've seen the flyer. 6 o'clock tonight to 7:30, there is a Female Mentoring Morale Program. There are a series of individuals who are going to be part of that. One of those individuals is going to be CW5 Dixon Carter. So if you want see her again, sign up and watch that program. That's tonight at 6 o'clock, and go see Delia if you want information on how to sign up. So that's a hooah for that. Okay, we've got some surprises for you. First thing we want you to do, we want to bring the class of 2004 forward for a group photo. Also the scholars. Did I say that, 24? What? 2024, please come forward for a photo op, and our scholars, please come forward. Step one, the photo, the coveted photo for eternity. Just around the cake. So we're just getting a nice photo. What's that? Yes, Dad, come in. Absolutely. This is the photo that you've all been wanting. All right, thank you. Everyone's got what they need? Is the Honorable Tanya Bradshear here? She had to leave. Well, let me tell you, part of the surprise was that she wanted to present coins to you. I know that that will probably happen at a later date. But at this time, I would like to bring up CW5 Phyllis Wilson from the Military Women's Memorial. She has a special presentation for our awardees.
Wow, what a great afternoon, and thank you for being at the Military Women's Memorial. To the Warrants in the house. Very proud to also be an alum of the Hall of Fame here. One of the things that we wanted to do, when you go to the reception, do remember who is bringing you the wine today. And notice please ask to see one of the bottles from the caterer. It has Charity Adams Early on the side of the bottle. So we're very pleased about that. We also have on display throughout the gallery, there are blow-up sizes of the stories in our national database of every one of these women, military women that were inducted. So please take a time to read through them. We'll be presenting your framed, ready to go here to each of the military women. But please read their stories. And I challenge right now, and I want to hear challenge accepted momentarily. Every woman that has or is serving in the United States military, their story must be in the Military Women's Memorial Repository. Our database deserves your story. And just like we heard before, it was hard work, and I did it. Thank you. Put your story in our database because we can only tell those that we have on hand. Don't minimize, don't marginalize, and don't step aside what you have done for this nation. So we'll be presenting to all of our women today their stories. But I just wanted to thank you all for being here at the Military Women's Memorial. For many of you in this room, this is your memorial. Claim it, own it, visit it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Phyllis. Okay, now the coveted cake cutting. Walt Gunning and Cindy Pritchett, please come forward with the saber together. Ah. Okay, and around the table so we can get it. 1, 2, 3. Yay. So again, thank you so much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the formal portion of today's program. Please join us for the reception in the gallery.
And have a great Army Day.